Welcome everyone to my channel. Such a cutie book I have today. It's a book about friendship and loyalty and support and love. It's the book about four sisters and their relationship between each other. Maybe sometimes it's not easy. Maybe sometimes it's hard. But at the same time, you will find their relationship very tender and respectful. And this book is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So here we are after thrillers, historical fiction, romantic, and other fantasy books. You want a little bit calm down. And there why I choose this book, Little Women. I know that mostly of you will probably read this book when you were a teenager because this is a book for children, for teenagers. But I promise if you won't reread it, you wouldn't regret it because we usually have different view of the book, of the different style when we are children and when we are adults. I know that in the nowadays we are running more for the emotional, that it would be fast, that it would be different actions all the time going on, but it's like what is never would be in the classic, because classic is usually slowly, it's like would be like many actions, but it wouldn't be so emotional. Never, it wouldn't be never so fast. But only in the classics, it doesn't matter when it was written. It could be 200 years, it could be 100 years, it could be 300 years. But valuation of these books the same in it, and it would be the same even in 300 years, in 500 years. It would be the same variation until it would be people living in the world. Classic is valuation about love, about relationship between each other, and how to live this life. If you have children and they're teenagers, just give them this book if they haven't read still. And if you haven't still read like me, please read it too, or just watch my video and we will together go through the book by itself and discussion of this book. So this book is definitely would be 5-star from the 5. I even would say 7-star from the 5. And some interesting facts I prepare for this book because I thought that it's supposed to be like very interesting stuff, what we all would want to know. And so first, what I was surprised. Actually, Louisa didn't want to write some girlish books, but her publisher insisted, and she wrote this book during 10 weeks only, and became her the most famous work. I was surprised to find out that Louisa was inspired by her own life, and she also had 3 sisters. What is Meg, Beth, and Amy are modeled by her 3 sisters, Annie, Lizzie, and May Alcott. Jo March is Louisa Alcott by herself, and she the same was fiercely writer, independent, and she never was married, but for Jo she gave a husband. Alcott served as a nurse in the Civil War. Also, she was fought for women's rights, and she was first woman who voted in Concord, Massachusetts. The first printing of this book was sold out during the days in the 1868, and in the 1869 it was already translated to multiple languages. This book also was adapted more than 20 times, from the anime and silent movies to the movies modern on the 1994 and 2019. Personally, I prefer TV shows if it's filmed based on the books, because I think they're more accurate and more show the atmosphere from that time. So you will see my future video. It would be compare book with a TV show and short what's going on in this book. So at the beginning we can see the four girls thinking what they want to the Christmas. Their names is adults. One is named Meg, next Joe, Beth, and youngest Amy. The oldest one is 16 years old and the youngest 12 years old. Their father served in the Civil War, so how you understand, it's not so much money and not such a happy Christmas they have. So they're thinking what they want for the Christmas, but they understand that they're out of the money because of circumstances, they're out on the money, and mother says that probably it's not such a good celebrate the Christmas when their father served in the Civil War. But girls, they prepare some money and they decided to spend for some small stuff for themselves. Afterwards, they decided that better they would buy something also for their mother, because she is hardworking, she is care about them and supports them. For Christmas Eve, they prepare some performance when they can have some fun time together. Next day, when it's Christmas, they come for the breakfast, and at the same time, their mother back from the outside, and she says that their neighbors, woman with few children, they in the terrible condition and they don't have food at all, and she suggests that they can share a little bit their breakfast with them. Girls supported and managed to bring breakfast to that poor people. Also, they have rich neighbors next to them. The house what is rich old man. His name is Mr. Lawrence, and he has grandson, and his name is Laurie. Mr. Lawrence found out about this noble action from their sisters, and he delivered to their Christmas dinner ice cream, meat, and other feast meal. After some time, Joe started to be friends with Laurie, and she invited him to their house because he doesn't have any friends. He is living only with grandfather, and he is teenager like them. Grandfather only care about his education, and he took some lessons what is prepared him to university on the future. So he is very desperate, very lonely, and every evening he is looking from his window to the window of the sisters when they, during the evenings, sitting, singing, do performance, or just talking. And that's what is make him sad, because on these evenings he is mostly feel lonely. So Joe feel bad about him and invite him to meet with her sister. Their friendship became stronger and stronger. One day Laurie invited Meg and Joe to the theater. Little Amy, she wanted to, but Joe said no to her because it wasn't not polite. Laurie invited only them. Amy was crying and very angry, and she was burned the book where Joe would write her fairy tales during few years. Amy, when she understood what she did, she was very regret, and she tried to apologize to the Joe, but she was very hurt and she couldn't hear apologize from her sister. Next day, Laurie was invited Joe for ice skating on the river, and they were ice skating. And in that time, Amy, she came to them and she wanted to apologize there also. And when she was screaming and tried that Joe would hear her, she will fall down under the ice in the river. Fortunately, with Amy, was everything alright, and that time Jo hurt her sister and regret that she was so cold to her and ignored her, and sisters again became close to each other. Meg, who is always wanted rich life, she had some rich friends and they were invited her spend weekend with them. When she showed up, she understood that she has only one dress. At the same time, that her friends has many dresses. And they decided to help her and dress up her. It was ball, everybody was dancing. Meg accidentally heard that people make some gossip about her and her sisters that say they want to find men with money so that they would become rich. And that disappointed her. She started to be ashamed and very upset, and she just wanted to back to home, to her cozy family, and she started more appreciate what she has. Girls decided to make experiment because they were tired of their duties and they wanted just to be lazy and do absolutely nothing or just only what they want. Their mother would agree with them and let them to do only what they want during 1 week. Girls' first day were very happy because they don't do any of their duties and their responsibilities. They just walk, talk, painting, play piano, and writing books. But in the few more days, they understood that they became bored. They became more annoying, more in their bad moods. On the last day, they were happy that experiment is done. And they understood that better have some duties, some routine for their balance and good life. In the next days, they were received telegram, and there was said that their father, who served in the Civil War, he is very sick, and mother is supposed to visit him. Nobody knows how sick he is, and he would need the support of his wife. Jo decided to do something to help her mother, and she went to the barber and cut her hair and sold it for $25. Mother had shocked of this, but she was glad that she had such a good daughters who is always supportive. During mother absence, the girls in general doing very well. They continue do their duties, and one of their duty was visit Himmel's family. It's that family with who they share their Christmas breakfast. In general, it's supposed to be all sisters help that family, but Meg and Amy start to have their own stuff, and they were kind of lazy to help, and Jo had a cold, so Beth was only one who will show up there and help that family. One day Beth back from the Himmel's family, and she was very quiet, and Jo asked what's happened, and she was shared that Himmel's baby, he had the scarlet fever and he was dead. Unfortunately, Beth, when she was child, she didn't have the scarlet fever, and that's how it happened that she infected from the child as became worse and worse and worse, and doctor said that it's already no hope. They will send telegram to the mother that she is supposed to be back, say at least goodbye to the Beth, but when mother showed up, Beth already was feel much better. A bit later, it's already past 1 year, and it's another Christmas, and what's a wonderful gift girls has on their Christmas, their father back from the war. So they're extremely happy. Mr. Brooke, who was friend to their family and will help them a lot, he opened his feelings to Meg. And Meg first wasn't so sure they would be a good couple, but her Aunt March, who was eavesdropped when Mr. Brooke had confession to the Meg, she said that she against of this marriage, and if Meg will marry Mr. Brooke, she wouldn't have any penny from her. Meg doesn't care about money. She was following her heart, and she was married to Mr. Brooke. Meantime, Jo's success and won the prize for her writing, and that's how she started to earn some money from what she wrote. After marriage, Meg tried to be perfect wife, and she learned how to clean her house, how to make delicious food, how to welcome her husband and his friend no matter when they show up in her house. But at the same time, she feels sad that they don't have enough money. Even when her husband worked very hard, she felt not so happy enough. She has one friend who is very rich, and they one day went to the market where they decided to buy some silk for their future dresses. It was $50. For her rich friend, it was nothing, but for Meg, it was a lot of money. And they turned to be ashamed, she bought it. Her husband, of course, wasn't so happy about this because they have pretty low budget. They had some conversation, and Meg understood her fault and returned silk back and start more appreciate what she has. Aunt March decided to have trip around the Europe, and she chose Amy to accompany her during the trip. Laurie started more shows his healing to Jo. Jo didn't like it and will run to New York to their friend who had children, and she will help her with children. And there she meet with Professor Bayer. He will teach children of their friend, and that's how Jo and Professor Bayer became a little bit closer to each other and had so far very good friendship. But the year is done, and Jo supposed to be back home, where she again meet Laurie. This time Laurie was very confident about his feelings, so he made confession to Jo. Jo will reject him. Laurie felt very bad. His grandfather suggests him to went to the Europe and spend a little bit time to help him with his work and to rethink about his feeling to Jo. After marriage, Meg gave birth to two beautiful children, but unfortunately after this her marriage had some trouble because she spent much more or less time with her husband. Mr. Brooke started to feel unwelcomed in his house, and he started to more spend time in his friend's house, and Meg understood that she became very lonely, and that's when came her mother and will help her with some good advice to her marriage. What is Meg, like a smart girl, was they took it and make her marriage again happy and lovely. Jo back to home. Amy meet Laurie in the Europe and they start to spend time together. Meg unhappy with her marriage. And Beth, poor Beth, is never recovered from her fever before, and she feels that her life soon would be end. And unfortunately, she is dying. When Beth died, it hit whole family, especially it hit Jo. She was very close to her sister, and she starts to feel very lonely. One day, Amy and Laurie they back from the Europe trip, And Lori showed up and told Joe that he married Amy. Joe very happy for them, but she feels very lonely, and she understood that she's 25 years old and she had nothing. And that's where suddenly Professor Bear showed up, and he spent 2 weeks in their town, and they will meet with Joe every day. Joe meet him with her family. Her family were very welcome and very like him. On the last day, when Professor Bear goes back to New York, Joe starts to cry, and Professor Bear will ask, "What's happened? Why are you crying?" And she says that she's crying because he is back to New York and she would be very miss him. And that's where Professor Bear understood that Joe had feelings also. And they start to hug and understood that they would have their own future now. It's the end of this beautiful story. Aunt March unfortunately died, but she left her house to Joe, and it's very huge house where Joe decided to make some school for the boys, and Professor Bear and her family, of course, helped her, and sometimes they make an apple fair where the whole family come together and enjoy these beautiful days. After 5 years, every one of them has their own children already, and their mother and Mr. Lawrence, they're very happy how it's turned life to these beautiful, kind girls. Every of them finds their own air castle, their own happiness. And now discussion of this book. Did you like this book? Did you not like this book? I like this book a lot, and for the beginning, at the beginning it seems very innocent and childish, but when they grow, I think it's closer to our adult life became. One's daughter the same height daughter's Mrs. March has. At the beginning of the book, we see that they're thinking who had the Christmas gift, what kind of Christmas gift, but so lovely was reading that they will spend their money for Christmas gift to their mother and how they care about their mother, that their mother show up and they put her to the chair, put blanket on her, make a tea to her, make some massage, and that's so beautiful when you have daughters like this. I was enjoyed to reading how in that time people spend such a valuable time instead of watch TV, play games, and what we are doing now in the present, right? 200 years ago, I thought that it was pretty bored time there, but no, I was enjoyed to reading how they make performance, different kind of performances, how they went to the different balls, how they're singing every evening, how they're reading parables and discuss them. And I actually thought to buy it too to my family and discuss between us. I think it's a very cool idea. And in general, you can see that people were more creative there because they have kind of plenty of time, right? So they did their best, and each girl has their hobby. Like one was a musician, another artist, and another writing, another just had fun. And that's very cool. I think it's what we kind of a little bit miss from that time. This have fun just like with each other and do some interesting stuff. Also that moment where they share their Christmas breakfast to the family what was poor and didn't have money and food, and afterwards when they make such a good action and they back to the home, it's what is saying, I think they were not in all the city for people. Then the hungry little girls who give away their breakfast and contented themselves with bread and milk on Christmas morning. And that's so cute. I always thinking that, of course, if you have something to give, better give than to take, and you would feel much more thankful and much more happy because you not just give, you just make something good, and that's what is make a little bit more light to your soul. Our poor Meg always want to have rich life, and finally she get it, or at least she can a little bit touch this rich life. And I think you agree with me that not everybody has option even touch. So she, I think, already was in somewhere lucky to be closer to this rich life. One thing what she is understood is she very soon discovered that there is a charm about fine clothes which attracts a certain class of people and secures their respect. Several young ladies who had taken no notice of her before were very affectionate all of a sudden. Several young gentlemen who had only stared at her at the other party now not only stared but asked to be introduced, and said all manner of foolish but agreeable things to her, and several old ladies who sat on the sofas and criticized the rest of the party, inquired who she was with an air of interest. And that's like when we can see, even since 200 years, that still people, even when we try to say that better have beauty inside, I quite disagree with this. Of course, it's better to have harmony first inside, but don't forget how you look outside. Because no matter what, first, what is other people see is how you look from the outside, and afterwards they can discover your beautiful world inside. I very like their mother. I think it's how it's supposed to be wisdom woman, and if this kind of wisdom woman you have in your family, you're already very lucky, I would say. And I like her attitude to her daughters. She almost never gives them strong advices or saying, okay, you have to do this, but not this. But first she waited when one of her daughter asked her advice that she can share with them their wisdom. And second, what I very like, she lets them make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. And afterwards, I like how girls run to their mother and start to analyze what they did wrong, that in the future to be better version of themselves. And that moment when they decided to quit from their old duties, mother say, all right, let's do experiment. 1 week, no duty, not responsibilities. And what happened to them? It was astonishing what a peculiar and uncomfortable state of things was produced by the resting and revealing process. The days kept getting longer and longer. The weather was unusually variable, and so were tempers, and unsettled feeling possessed everyone, and Satan found plenty of mischief for the idle hands to do. And that's what is another very good example that we all have to have some responsibilities. That's what is make our life much more happier and balanced. Of course, hard work is not so good for your health and for your mind, but also when you're lazy, when you don't have goal and don't have what to reach, it's pretty bad also. And I will read in one psychology book that it was experiment. One school student there were reject study. And teachers, they instead said to punishment and fight with them, they just said, okay, no lessons anymore, you can do whatever you want. And For first stage, it was very fun for them and they had so much stuff to do. But with every day, it was harder and harder to feel them happy. They start to be more annoying of each other. They start to feel very bad. They start to be aggressive. And in general, they start to be depressive. And after some weeks, yes, it was not days, but it was couple weeks, when they were come to the professor and beg them to start again lesson. And that's what it was happened in the book Little Women. The same situation. Girls were first resting, lazy, and afterwards they understood that to do nothing is the worst what it can happen to them. Another what is very interesting thought, what to think, is what happened with Laurie. His dream is to be musician, and what it was his castle in the air. He wanted to went to Berlin and just live his average life and to be musician. But in the same time, he couldn't leave his grandfather, who wanted that he would study in university and continue his business. And he was happened that he need to choose what he wanted to follow, his dreams or follow what is his grandfather said. And he chose follow his grandfather. And I think that's very smart because sometimes we have some dreams what we want, but usually these dreams they not became true, or when it became true, you understood that they wasn't worth your efforts, and you start to regret about what you can make before with your life. I think, what is the best is make some balance. For example, find stable job, but in the same time follow your dream. Just not spend whole time for this, but part of your time, and that's when you will more and more to feel, is it worth to put more time or it's not worth of this. How you see, Laurie afterwards had a happy marriage, children, and nobody hungry. Who knows what would happen if he would be just some street musician in Berlin on the time, and could he bear this life or no, because he is not from the poor family, he is from the rich family, and he already used to the certain level of his life. So if you don't know what to do, or follow what is your parents say, or like your dreams, I would say try to do both if it's possible, and afterwards you would understand to what you want to spend more time. For little Beth, who had sickness and close to the death already, and what is her thoughts on that time is, I have a feeling that it never was intended I should live alone. I'm not like the rest of you. I never made any plans about what I do when I grew up. I never thought of being married, as you all did. I couldn't seem to imagine myself anything but stupid little Beth, trotting about at home. Of no use anywhere but there. I never wanted to go away, and the hard part now is leaving you all. I totally agree with her that if you don't have taste of life, probably it wouldn't be nothing to fight for what. And I think it's like what is mostly happening with old people, because mostly of them they are already doesn't have so much energy, already don't see so bright life. They already did everything what they want, or what they think what they wanted. They already grow their child, grandchild, or just like was already had enjoy of their life, and they just don't have any goals on the future. And that people who has active life and still force themselves to study, work, meet with the friends, and many goals make, I think they would be live longer anyway, because they even don't have time so much for depression or this like thoughts to think. they are going only forward. And that's what is keep you always alive, always active, and on the side of the life. And of course, it's like some people who is like, it's not all, but some people get maybe some more comfortable life and doesn't have any goals and just try to be quiet as possible. It's nothing what is hold you on the life. So that's like what is very important, to make goals, to have some responsibility, to do sport, to be active, to make friends, and but most important, more and more goals that you would know that it's like something what you need to reach, and no matter how you have diseases, how you have troubles, you have goals, what you have to do. You have something what you just have to get up from the bed every time to make this some responsibilities, and you just not allowed to lay down and do nothing. Then when you would be live longer and to be on the side of the life, and not like how is Beth, who was very passive, very silent, and didn't want anything of the life, and probably life decided that it just give up. And that sentence, what I think that it's like from the psychologist books on the present, and I was surprised that after 200 years ago was everything put in the book of the marriage life, and I just read it, and you would understand what is wisdom hiding under this sentence. Well, dear mother said to the man who had whose marriage became worse and worse because she all the time with the children, and she give everything what she has to the children and forgot totally about her husband, and I can even already see that she became old and not beautiful and young how before, and husband just doesn't want to spend time with her anymore, and everything what she has, only children. Well, dear, if I were you, I'd let John, her husband, have more to do with the management of Tammy, for the boy needs training, and it's not too soon to begin. Then I do what I have often proposed, let Hannah come and help you. She is a capital nurse, and you may trust the precious babies to her while you do more housework. You need the exercise. Hannah would enjoy the rest, and John would find his wife again. Go out more, keep cheerful as well as busy, for you are the sunshine maker of the family, and if you get dismal, there is no fair weather. Then I try to take an interest in whatever John likes. Talk with him, let him read to you, exchange ideas, and help each other in that way. Don't shut yourself up in bandbox because you are a woman, but understand what is going on and educate yourself to take your part in the world's work, for it all affects you and yours. And that's like, wow, what she's saying. It's like everything here. You can read it. I like that Meg just cried to her mother, Mom, why you never told me this before? And mother was saying like, but you never asked me. And that's very cool when mothers not to try to bother so much marriage couple, right? And I like that her mother says at first, good if husband would be part of your family and take care of the children the same how you do. And when Meg say, but he can do it, he never doing it, he doesn't know how to. And mother say like that, probably he need teach himself how to do it. What is very smart. For beginning it would be not good, but anyway it would be improve and improve and improve, right? And afterwards, what she says that like ask for help. Like Hannah is like the servant helper could help you, and she can help you. Don't try to ask for help. Do exercise that your body would be healthy, right? Go out, breathe the fresh air, and don't forget about educate yourself. And that's what is very cool. And it would be a little bit later when Meg would say like, but how I would ask my husband questions about politics or about his work or something else, like he would think that I'm very stupid to ask these silly questions. And her mother would say like, but if you wouldn't ask husband, who you will ask? To who to be open, then not to your husband. And that's like very wisdom verse. I mean, like, of course, for now, we have plenty of psychologists, books, videos, and other stuff, what is help us more make our life comfortable. But 200 years ago, I think it wasn't so much information about this. And still, I know that some girls have some trouble like this. And it would be, I think, very good to them at least to read these couple pages. Conclusion on this beautiful book. What at the beginning I thought that it's like doesn't worth to read, but on the end I start to appreciate some wisdom pearls from this book. I'm pretty sure that you could find even more some wisdom stuff, what it will help in your life. Especially, it's very cool when you can learn not from your mistakes, but from mistakes of other people or maybe other characters from the book. Read this book or not, definitely read, even if you 12 years old, 30 years old, 70 years old. It's still worth to read, and I think if it would be like 70 years old, probably you will find something for yourself from this book. It's classic, it's books what is like for entire time. Classic is that kind of books what is always would be relevant no matter what and not no matter what is time now. So just enjoy reading this book and let me know what interesting else you find from this book. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoy it how I'm enjoying to make it for you. If you want to support my channel, just subscribe, write your comment. What do you think about this book? About some moments what I'm saying? I agree or you disagree? And see you on my next video.